How's it going, everybody? This is Beat the Bush. Today we're gonna make some almond milk. Now, I became a little bit lactose intolerant, so I need to make some kind of creamer. So I use almond milk now in my milk tea. Now I use about 2.8 ounces of raw almonds. This is unroasted, unsalted, and you mix it in with 2 cups of water. Now you can go to the supermarket and buy almond milk, but most of those out there is mixed with a bunch of other preservatives. I don't know, there's like 10, 12 ingredients in it. The one I'm gonna show you today, the ingredients are almond and water. There's nothing else in it. So you know this is really pure. It also doesn't last very long because there's no preservatives. I would recommend to use this within probably like 4 days or so from when you actually blend this up and get your almond milk out. So with that said, let me just show you the recipe. I have a little scale here. I'm gonna turn it on. You need about 2.8 ounces of almonds per 2 cup of water. 2.8 or so. I have an Instant Pot blender over here. It's heated at the bottom because you can make soy milk, but I'm just gonna make almond milk this time. 2.8 ounces of almonds. I'm using raw almonds over here. This is unsoaked because I am lazy. I found the easiest way to do this because I used to soak these. I put them in a little bit of water overnight and then it gets all soft, and then you have to go and remove the skin of these things, because if you soak them and then blend them, the skin gets kind of like rubbery and it refuses to break up. But if you just put them in like this without soaking, when the blender goes and cuts the skin, it just breaks them up. So then it's going to be kind of like a powdery form after you try to squeeze out the milk. So I prefer to not soak them so that it blends easier. Now put in 1.5 cups of water. I did say 2 cups of water because the last half cup you want to put in after you blend it in and pour it out, just to rinse this a bit, because you can extract more of the almond milk that's just kind of stuck in this bottle over here. Let's just close this. It just turns on, and I find that the best setting to do this is smoothie. If you don't have one of these Instant Pot blenders, well, you can use any other kind of blender. I have a Blendtec blender, which I also use the smoothie setting, and basically any blender would work, I think, if you just blend it for about 1 minute to 2 minutes or so. So smoothie it is, and I'm gonna press start. 1 minute and 38 seconds is gonna do it. It just kind of starts and stops and kind of like pushes all the water up. I think this helps gets all the debris and kind of bring it back down. Make sure everything is blended. Okay, now it's done. It's blended up, and you'll notice there's a lot of pulp and almond milk that's stuck to the edges of this thing, and we're gonna take care of this. I'm gonna put my cloth over here. This is just a simple napkin that I'm using to do the straining. You could use a cheesecloth, although I think most cheesecloth, they're a little bit too coarse to be able to strain out all the almond pulp. So I'm just gonna put all the almond milk in here along with the pulp. And then, you don't really have to get really clean over here. And then I pour the remainder half cup. So the total in here is 2 cups of water. Pour it in there. I close it back up. Shake it. I'm just getting all the almond milk here. It just grabs everything. You see it's a lot cleaner now, and I pour the rest in there. This is okay because, that bit is a little bit diluted, but you're putting the diluted stuff into the concentrated stuff. It just kind of gets all mixed in there. I did that on purpose. So I grabbed the corners over here. This is a square napkin. Grab all the corners. Make sure your hands are clean, by the way. I washed my hands already. And then you just grab the 4 corners like this, wrap it around right here. Because if you grab it too high, right, and you start squeezing, the almond milk is gonna come out of these corners over here. So make sure you grab those. And I just usually just kind of twirl it around, and you just hold it here. Grab it below these little edges over here, a lot of them leaked out already, and so you just squeeze the rest of it. What I've noticed is when you don't soak the almonds, they don't turn into as fine a pulp. In my experience, when you don't soak it, it still tastes roughly the same. In this case, when you don't soak it, you don't have to peel all the skin off the almonds, which is like, less work. And it still tastes roughly the same. Probably 99% as good. So you see, I'm just squeezing it. And I've noticed sometimes if you soak it, it becomes a lot harder to squeeze because the pulp becomes a lot finer. And it just kind of clogs up your cloth. So, over here, you just squeeze all of it. And then I open it up again, move the pulp, just kind of shake it off a little bit, and squeeze it some more. Okay, and you might ask, what the heck do you do with the pulp? I've tried to use it as much as I could. I put it in almond cookies. I, mix it in with bread or something. It turns out when you mix this in with bread, it doesn't rise as well. So I've done that, and it becomes really horrible. So don't try to make bread with this almond flour. In the end, I haven't found a really good use for it, so I'm just kind of I just kind of toss this now. Like, it tastes horrible. It tastes very plain. If you make cookies out of it, it doesn't taste very good. Maybe, if you have other uses for this, you can find it yourself. But, if this is a trash can, I just kind of go like this, pour it out. And then I rub it a little bit on the inside so all of the pulp falls out. And this goes in the trash can. I got a mason jar over here, a wide mouth one. It fits exactly 2 cups. So it's all gonna fit in there. Me being frugal, I like to just scrape off the rest of this for my current drink. But if you're not gonna make a current drink, don't put it in there because you're gonna touch your fingers on this, contaminate it a little bit more. So try to keep this as sterile as possible. It's gonna keep a little bit longer. And then just close it up and put this in the fridge. Remember to put this in the fridge right away. Don't just let it sit because bacteria is going to develop much quicker. So as soon as you finish, squeezing it, put it in the fridge right away. One time I remember squeezing it and I just kind of left it on the counter for maybe, half an hour. A lot more bacteria developed and it didn't last as long. So if you want it to last very, very long, or maximum 3 or 4 days or so, squeeze it immediately, put it in the fridge immediately. So I'm gonna do that right now. A word about how to clean up this weird cloth thing, okay? It's gonna have all this pulp on here. So I give it a quick rinse first under the faucet. And you do need to put a little bit of soap on this because I've also tried just rinsing it with water, and then, almond has a little bit of oils in it. So if you don't use soap and then you just try to use this cloth multiple times, it starts to smell a little bit. So you do need soap in order to clean this. Rinse off all the pulp, add a little bit of soap, just kind of, wash it a little bit by hand, and then you just wring it dry. Hang it somewhere, and then you can reuse this little, napkin or cheesecloth or whatever again and then again. Like I said, I'm gonna throw this away because I haven't found a good use for it. It's sad that, it's perfectly good almond flour over here, and it's very expensive to buy almond flour. The huge advantage of this is you might even want to consider this if you only use milk as a creamer. Because if you buy a half gallon of milk just to use as a creamer, you probably would have it go bad before you finish the bottle. When I switched to this almond milk method, I have probably 2 or 3 pounds of almonds sitting in the pantry. And whenever I need some kind of creamer, I just, do my whole blending process thing, squeeze the almond milk out, and then I have some sort of creamer to use. Almonds, I think they last like 6 to 12 months in the pantry. So it's essentially a dairy, not a dairy, but like a creamer that is not going to spoil, every week or two. So it's readily accessible. So I highly recommend you trying this out, even if you're really, really used to dairy creamers. If you want to put this in your coffee, in your milk tea, to me, it tastes very, very similar. Once you get used to it, it's like, oh, you don't have to buy milk anymore. Milk is like $5 every single week. 2.8 ounces, times two. This is a bit cheaper than buying fresh milk every single time. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this almond milk making process. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.